Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. It is Hump Day. I am Solitude Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hey, Frankie, welcome. Number one today. Welcome, Angela. Welcome. You are number two. And for anyone over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Spotify, wherever you get your streaming, welcome. And those who listen to the download on Apple Podcasts, thank you. And Dawn and Melissa, welcome. We're going to let some more people come in before we start the show. Isaac, welcome. Welcome, Jody. Welcome, Cody. Welcome. We're going to get started here in a moment. Welcome. Hey, how are you? Lexus Wine, welcome. Lexus Weinberg, I'm sorry, welcome. Deep Credit, welcome. Hey, Minnesota. Crazy, welcome. And guys, today I'm hoping to have a meaningful discussion. Welcome. Okay, I'm not using my headset and additional mic today. I want to make sure that everyone's able to hear everything. So let me stop this. Uh-oh, there we go. So guys, today I want to talk about the Black Girl Follow Train. And what that is thank you, Crazy. In Love with Kimberly Michael, welcome back. So I want to talk about this because this is something that started on TikTok about a month and a half ago. And it's gotten a lot of people upset. And specifically, and I'm just going to come out and say it because it's going to be one of those shows today. It's gotten a lot of white women upset. And some of the comments on TikTok have just been just crazy too. It's racist. Why are you leaving us out? I'm just going to say the typical Karen stuff. And what I'm not understanding is, you know, when you have groups of people, you have a group of women who want to support each other on TikTok and follow each other. You know, they say, hey, let's follow each other. Let's support each other. And you know, all of a sudden, this other group of people, they're feeling left out. And I'm like, why? What is the problem? What is the problem? Let's talk about it honestly. You have schools that are all Asian. You have schools that are all Jewish. You have banks, you know, and lending institutions that will only lend to certain groups of people. There are some Asian banks and lenders that will only lend to Asian people because they want to support their culture. They want to support their people. You have Latinos that only want to support, you know, you go to lending places that only want to support Latinos. And then you have, you know, banks and what have you that will not lend to Black people, will not sell a home to Black people still. And this is 2023. So all of a sudden, it's like this have this Black girl follow train, and all of a sudden it's like, but you're leaving us out. I mean, some of the comments were so nasty and so vicious. And on one hand, you have women who are, I'm just gonna say it, the Karen tears, the I'm afraid of you. Oh, you're making me feel like you're about to harm me. Then in the very next moment, the people that they're claiming that they're afraid of, they are following. This is entitlement. Is there nothing that Black people, Black women cannot just say, we just want to support each other? We want to just, tell each other that we support you, we got your back? Because if, white women want to say, well, go and, we'll have our own follow train, which they did do. On TikTok, go ahead. So what? But why is it a problem when Black people want to do it, Black women, and it's been highly successful? It's ridiculous. You have a man on TikTok, Defrost Me, who did a video on Black Panther 2 and how it's a racial slur to use the word colonizer. To use the word colonizer, it's a racial slur. Talking about that Wakanda was racist, which is a fictional African country in a fictional movie that is make-believe. Were you saying that when Quentin Tarantino makes his movies and he's dropping the N-word 50 million times and he feels that it's okay for him to do it because he's a filmmaker? Were you saying that, were you claiming racism and what have you when you had all these other movies out here that are using all kinds of racial slurs, not just, against Black people, but for everybody? And you're going to talk about the word colonizer? It's offensive to you because it's true. Welcome, Brina. So and Crazy said that's frowned upon too. I'm not sure what you're talking about. We say when Latinas did it was a problem, but it shouldn't be. If anybody wants to follow their own group, I mean, is the NAACP, is that racist? Are the Proud Boys, are they racist because they have their own little group? Some would say it is because of what they stand for. And there's a difference. So, I'm just truly just not understanding why it triggers some people. And there's that word trigger. That word trigger. The word woke, which means to be aware, but it's been turned into a political statement. But the Black girl follow train has really, it's the highest trending topic on TikTok. Why is that a problem? When Black TikTok dancers a year ago boycotted TikTok and refused to make up any other dances, there was uproar then. Why are you stopping? Why are you stopping? Why are they stopping to give you dances that you copy and then you profit on, and you don't give credit where credit's due? There was an uproar about that. Why? So the Black Girl Follow Train, I support it 100%. But I'm gonna be fair, because I'm gonna talk about black men. You have Black men who don't like the Black Girl Follow Train. They think that it's wrong. Some of them think that it's petty. Some Black men have, called Black men weak because they follow the Black women follow train and they support it. Seriously? I know you do, Kimberly. And Crazy says, because people can't worry about themselves. Black Girl Follow Train, Brina, is a movement on TikTok where Black women on TikTok are following each other. They're following each other, and they are supporting each other. So I mean, it just behooves me. I truly just don't get it, because the entitlement that has come out has been so ridiculous. I don't know. Well, put it like this. Yes, Brina, supporting one another does make sense. And Crazy, I do believe people should do what they want. But there's always somebody who's going to get upset. There's always someone who is going to get upset. Welcome, Melody. History has a habit of repeating itself over and over. And I'm tired of the Karens who used to be the Beckys, who back in the day during plantation times were Miss Ann. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of the fake tears. I'm tired of, oh, I am scared of you. You are threatening me. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. Welcome, the only crazy lady. I'm over it. And Crazy says, because they aren't included. That's silly. Make your own move. And that's what I say. Make your own movement. But even that's copy. Even that's copy. On one hand, you get upset, but then on the other hand, you're copying? I don't get it. Why is it a problem if Black women get together and support each other? It's been a problem for decades. It's been a problem for years. It's been a problem for centuries. It's not a problem when it's convenient. And that's why I said let's be honest. Let's be honest. And then Crazy says, because let's see, Crazy says they all are. Everyone did it. Let everyone have theirs. Share the love. Crazy Lady says because people are scared that the girls will take over the world. You know, and Crazy Lady says, I am being honest. And Brandon says to Crazy Lady, if we could get along, we definitely would. But you know what? I'm going to get deeper. And I may step on some toes, and some people may not want to talk to me anymore, but I'm going to get deeper. Shy Lady, welcome. Kimberly, welcome. Kimberly.
Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm good.
It's great to hear your voice.
Good to hear yours. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, I have been a little bogged down with time frame wise, but I'm doing my best. I just did my last 2 podcasts were on white women and bad behavior. And it started with the TikTok trend. So I'm studying right now for my broker's test, but I wanted to come in and just comment and then breeze out of here. I'm going to keep listening, but 2 things the 2 points that I made, although I made more. One of them is, what kills me is white folks, especially white women, don't give a shit about what black women are doing any other time. They don't give a fuck about, you know, what's going on in their lives, what's affecting them, how they're affected. They don't have conversations about oppression and systemic racism. They don't care when they're getting beat up in the parking lot of Target, or they're being, you know, brutalized or, you know, oppressed. But all of a sudden, now that there's a follow train, it's a problem and they need to be in their business. Like, I think white women should sit the hell down and have a mental break. Like, this is none of their business at the end of the day. If you ain't for it, then don't be for it. You know what I mean? If you ain't down with pedophiles, don't get on a pedophile page. If you ain't down with sexual assault, don't get on a sexual assault page. You ain't down with black women and all their beautifulness, then don't get on their pages. You know what I'm saying? Like, sit down and have several seats. But with that being said, the mindset, and I talk about this all the time, it's a generational mindset that is deeply embedded in a lot of white people, and they have not addressed it because then they have to hold themselves accountable. It's part of their cognitive dissonance. It's part of the ignorance that's been passed down, and it's part of the perceived privilege that white folks think they have. And to me, at the end of the day, I'm disgusted by it all. And I'm with you. I'm sick of it too. I'm not affiliated with white women that talk like that and act like that. It's absolutely ridiculous and disgusting to me that they even should have a voice about what black women are doing amongst themselves. But I'm with you. I'm sick of it. I'm literally sick of this shit. And I said, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not a violent person, but I'm waiting to be in public for somebody like Miss Karen to step up and open her mouth in front of me. Because if nobody else gonna do something, I'm telling you that I may become violent. And one of the gentlemen said, well, what does violence do? I don't know what violence will do, but I know what us speaking on it, marching on it, walking on it, changing laws on it, and being outwardly overt about what is happening by generating a media presence about the truth of what's happening has not worked thus far. So forewarned, and then I'm going to jump off and I don't want to keep talking. If you see me in public and you a white Karen or a Becky or anybody who's going to open your mouth sideways, please know that the few things that you can catch from me is these hands immediately. I'm not going to tolerate the behavior where I can address it. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to talk about it either.
Kimberly, before you jump off, and I will
yes, ma'am.
let you go. First of all, I would, for people who don't know, because if you're on TikTok or any of these other places that I'm trending, for people, or even in Podbean, for people who don't know, Kimberly is a white woman. Okay, no, I need to say that because it makes a difference from you saying what you just said and from me saying it. I also want to ask you this, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you familiar with the etiquette training that young white girls received back during slave days.
Back during what?
Slave days during slavery, that 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old girls, the training that their fathers gave them during slavery. Are you familiar with that?
No, I've never even heard of. I mean, I've heard of etiquette training, but not in relation to slavery.
I don't mean etiquette in terms of how to hold your teacup. I'm talking about when you get married, you're going to be running your own household, and you need to know how to discipline slaves. You need to know how to keep them in line. And one of the things
generational,
and this is what I'm saying, and this is where the Beckys and the Karens come out. You know, when you are taught to, you know, if and this is true, a Black woman who raised white girls, suckled at their breasts. And by the way, everyone, when Black women when Black women were nursing white children, and they were nursing their own Black child on the other breast, they could not switch, or else they would get beaten. They could only switch if they washed the breast that the Black child was sucking on. So having said that, and this is what I want to know, Kimberly, when a Black slave burned, now this is a woman again who raised these white children, suckled at their breasts or whatever, when the woman burned the waffles and had little burn marks around the edges, that woman was taken out and beaten 20 times. The whip was then given to the girls and said, now you do it until you're satisfied. And those girls beat that woman who took care of them until they were satisfied. This is a generational thing. This is where the entitlement comes from. So again, it's like, so you have this Black woman follow train on TikTok. So the hell what? Get over yourself.
Absolutely.
So, and I just wanted to know what you thought about that in terms of the generational craziness.
That's where I'm saying that it definitely stems from. This is a generational curse amongst white women. And listen, I said this last night, and I'm gonna say it again. Here's the issue. We are having these conversations because I, as a white woman, am having a conversation with a beautifully, magically melanated woman. So I talk like this already, and then you talk like this, and then we talk like this. White people do not sit around their dinner tables. Most white people, don't jump on me if you do. Most white people generationally do not sit around their tables and speak on generational curses. We don't speak on racism. We don't speak on slavery. We don't have any of these conversations, especially when it includes the advancement of Black people. And that is because there is nothing about liberating Black people that white people care about. It does not benefit them. It will never benefit them. Therefore, they will never make any type of group or collective effort to change anything within the Black community. A lot of this stuff is generationally embedded. Black people tell me all the time, oh, I know good white people. I'm sure that you do. I know good white people too. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, when they mad, I promise you the first word out of their mouth is going to be ninja. And that's not what I mean. And that is because that is what they have been taught. We don't have that. No one taught me in my family to hate Black people. It was the way that they carried themselves and the things that they said and how they mocked Black people and made racial remarks all the time. You just know. So that etiquette training that we got back during slavery has evolved now to a different type of etiquette training. It's not necessarily training, but it's how the white people talk to each other to keep that type of mentality alive. I don't want to say who it was. Yeah, I will, because I love him, and in my heart of hearts, I know that he's a changed man. But when I was growing up, my daddy, and again, not only am I white, but my ancestors are white as well. I don't have any melanated people and generationally except for about 3 or 4 generations back. So I am very, very white. I grew up in a white community. I went to private schools, and I was not around black people until I was in my teenage high school years. Was not even around black people. I did not engage with them at all. I was not in a community where black folks existed. So I grew up completely in a white mentality with white mindset, with white people who generationally had owned slaves. They were out of North Carolina. Regardless, my father used to say all the time when I was little that he was going to adopt a black boy because he always wanted to own a slave. He said that in front of me for years. Now, he would never say that now, and he would absolutely take off the head of anybody who even looked in the direction of his 3 grandchildren now, right? That was a different person, but it's my point, is what I'm saying, is that those are the conversations that are had. Those are the things that are said to us. So that makes us think immediately, especially as a small child, that black people are beneath me. They're not the same as me. They're below me. Like it's the ownership and the, again, perceived privilege that exists, because the privilege is only amongst white people. If a white person went in a black community and tried to get the same privileges that they think they get in the white community, they're not going to get them, right? Because it's non-existent. It only exists in that community. But generationally, this is what I feel like. I don't know, and I don't believe in white women or white people collectively coming to an accountability when it comes to their mindset or the behaviors that they have co-created over the last 400 years in this country, in reference to black people. I think that the fight should be within the black community. I think it should be liberating black women and black men individually and collectively. And I think white people should say the fuck out of it, that it's none of their business. That's just my opinion.
Okay, and you drop your F words and your S words.
I'm sorry. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's unfortunately how I talk. But yeah, no, I mean, so that's how I feel, and I don't want to drop any more F-bombs. So
Thank you for.
I'm gonna go study. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna keep listening. I'm just gonna keep studying. But thank you for having me on and for letting me drop my F-bombs. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Kimberly. Thanks.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so everyone, I mean, she said it. I mean, she broke it down and she said it, and you know, does anybody want to comment on what Kimberly said? You know, because it's a problem. It is a problem. And we're just talking about getting upset over a black girl follow train. You know, these Karens, and one reason why I'm so sick of it, beyond sick of it, is these are the people who get black people killed. These are the people who set them up. And when I say set them up, I'm going to talk about San Francisco Karen, Lisa Alexander. When she wanted to know why James Wanillo was stenciling Black Lives Matter in chalk in front of his home and was defacing private property, he said, call the police if you feel that I'm breaking the law. The couple called the police, who recognized him as the owner of the property. And she even lied and said, I know who lives here. You don't live here. He did. You have your Central Park Karen. All the man said was, could you leash your dog? I do that all the time when I'm out walking my dogs. Put a leash on your dog. I carry mace when I go out. I will mace your dog. As much as I love dogs, I will mace them. I don't want your dog approaching my dog who's on a leash. And she's dragging her poor dog to the point where she's choking him, that he was taken away from her for a couple of days, to say that he's threatening her as he's backing away from her and she's moving forward towards him. Isaiah McLean would be alive today if it weren't for Karen. And that's what these women on TikTok are. They're Karens. You're upset because you're excluded, but then you don't like to include. And I'm going to say this, and I may rub some people the wrong way again, because I usually do when I talk about stuff like this. You know, Charlotte, I'm reading Charlotte's comment. Let's talk about the white neighborhood who called the police on third grade black girls spraying trees to eliminate bugs from destroying trees in Florida. Florida's that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different show. That's a whole different show. But you have these people who, and I think that they are rare. I truly believe that they are rare. And I don't know if the white people who are in my chat right now are these rare people and can truly honestly say that they are these rare people. But I hear a lot of people say, I'm on your side, and then turn around and make a comment that was like, seriously? But you look at the two civil rights workers who were killed along with another black residents during the civil rights movement. Two white boys from New York whose bodies were found in the river. You look at the white people who got on the Freedom Ride buses and went down into the South knowing that they could get hurt. And a lot of them did. They were beaten. Some of them were almost lynched. Some of them were burned. I'm talking about white people. Those are the ones who say, when things get too tough, I'm going to go back into my house and I'm going to stay over here, but I'll root for you over here. The ones that actually get down into the trenches, and I'm not saying you got to go somewhere and almost get lynched or burned or anything like that or beat up, but I'm saying the ones that stand firm and can deal with their co-workers, their peers, talking about them, threatening them. They can stand firm. I've met very few people that are like that. Hey, Christian, welcome. I've met very few. Kimberly says that's what some of the white ladies did on TikTok. I got black friends, but you have affirmative action that makes sense. And let's talk about affirmative action. The biggest people that benefited from affirmative action were white women. And Kimberly says it's the front line for me. And Kimberly, I believe you. But I don't think that there are a lot that will go into the trenches. all of a sudden they'll have something to do, or oh well, yeah, and I'm being honest. I am being honest. I don't believe that there are a lot that are willing to do that. I mean, you just look at history. Back in the back in the 40s and 50s, during World War II and during the Korean War, when black men were fighting overseas, and they were getting decent pay, where their wives didn't have to work. But let me tell you what they did in the South. And these laws are on the books. Look them up. Because black women didn't have to work. If a black woman did want a job and she wanted to go work at a department store or wherever, even back then it was hard to work at a department store. It was written in southern states that the only job a black woman was allowed to take was a domestic. Why? Because you had a lot of black domestics who were quitting because they didn't need to work because their husbands were sending money home, so they didn't have to work. So when they weren't taking money, so when they weren't taking those jobs, they still weren't taking those jobs. It became a law. Any black woman between the age of 18 and 50 had to work as a domestic, cleaning up a white woman's house. Where was the outrage then? I believe that same, if they did things like that now, which some people are trying to do in certain states, because I follow what is going on. I follow what is going on. I always want to know what is going on around me. I may not live in that state. I may not live in that neighborhood. I still want to know if it affects me or my people. Because sooner or later, it will. Where was the outrage? There was none. Because Becky was getting her house clean. Becky was getting her toilet clean. Becky was getting her food prepared by the same black hands that on Saturday and Sunday are saying they're filthy. Don't touch me, you filthy so-and-so. But it's okay for Becky to come back into your house on Monday and fix your breakfast. So you have a group of women who are saying, I'm going to support each other. Let's support each other. So Crazy says, you speak the truth, Salad. Many talk, but few walk. Shally says they found a loophole to include them as well as gay whites. Shelby says, I believe all women are equal. We all believe red. Do we not? Yes, Shelby, we do. I mean, and Shelby, when people say that, oh, I believe that everybody should do this and I believe everyone should do that. I mean, I believe that people think that. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to what Crazy said, what Kimberly said, how many people are actually going to walk the walk? How many people are actually going to, get on that front line? Welcome to Saturday Night Smoke. How many people are actually going to get on that front line? Because I don't think that you have too many. Kubella, if you want to, hey, Cupcake, welcome. If anybody wants to come on, you're going to have to come on over to Podbean. Did y'all miss what Miss Kimberly Michael said? You know, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you have a group of people who have been so indoctrinated to think that Black people, and you know, I'm gonna say Black women more so than Black men, but I'll probably get pushback from Black men for saying this. But you know, you have your Mary Turners and you have your Reese Turners, unrelated. Reese Turner was a woman in the 40s who was coming home from church, walking home from church one evening with her friend, and she was kidnapped by 6 white men. They took her to the woods and they raped her. They took turns and they raped her. And the ringleader said, because she lived to tell the tale, respond to me the way you would respond to your husband or I'll kill you. Respond to me the way you respond to your husband or I'll kill you. What the? Seriously? Then you have Mary Turner. See, this is why Black folks don't have picnics. We have barbecues. We have cookouts. We don't have picnics because we all know what picnic stands for. Picnics were when, you know, white folks would sit around. Get a little picnic basket together and go watch a lynching. And in some cases, watch Black folks be barbecued. Yes, I said barbecued. Then they would cut them up. And they would all take little pieces of them for souvenirs. You don't believe me? Look it up. Shelby says, right, my mom and dad were racist. I know that that's wrong. Crazy Lady says, my dad raised us that everyone is the same. Crazy Lady says, and if we see something that is being done that is wrong and don't do something, we are just as guilty. I agree. Shy Lady, welcome. And
hey,
hello.
Hello everyone. I just want to say, I mean, it's a lot to be said. I've heard about the strain. It's so much, so many layers.
I'm gonna stop you for a moment. My live access on TikTok has been suspended until January the 18th.
Oh, wow.
Like I said.
Maybe okay. Whatever. But I mean, I was gonna say there's so many layers of this whole situation, and then you can just go back with. I mean, I just think about. I read a lot of articles online, as you know, and I look at some of the comments. They appear to be from white people because they'll refer to Black people in very negative ways. So I know they're not Black. But it just amazes me that the thinking of some people that Black people seem to, I mean, it's a lot of stereotypes that a lot of white people still have about Black people. They think that we're getting over in terms of affirmative action. Not the case. If you read articles and look at the statistics, like you said earlier, the majority of the people that are benefiting from affirmative action are white women, and then there's also white military vets and the LGBTQ community. are the biggest benefactors of affirmative action, not Black people. And again, you can look at lots of major Fortune 500 companies, and you'd be lucky if you find one Black person on the executive committee. You're not going to find it. So I just don't understand the reasoning behind a lot of white people thinking blacks have everything. They have so many things geared for them, and it's not the case. Just go back and look at the statistics. They really don't understand that there is something called white privilege. It exists, and Black people don't have access to that because they're not white. A lot of times white people say, oh, you guys are always doing crimes and committing crimes, and a lot of that's bias as well. Yes, there's Black on Black crimes, as there are crimes with other ethnic groups. But the majority of us are not committing crimes. That's not the majority of Black people. That's a part of the media that wants to continue to promote that, to continue the hatred and the racism. They want to continue that. And it's just so many layers that you just have to go dig way back. Even this whole situation with Meghan Markle and Harry. I mean, you look at that situation. Almost every article and comments I read, they're tearing Meghan down. They'll quickly say, oh, it's not because she's Black. Well, I don't hear anyone tearing Camilla down. She's worse than anybody that ever been in the royal family from what I've read. She's Diana herself said that this woman has always been in her marriage. She was an adulterer. She was sleeping with Charles while he was married. So it's like I don't hear the hatred for people like Camilla, who has the audacity to sit there with the royal family. And in my opinion, she's trash. But they constantly want to tear Meghan down and criticize her, and they say, oh, it's not because she's got Black in her. Well, what else could it be? To receive death threats and your children to be threatened. What else could it be? What could she have done compared to what Camilla has done to receive as much hatred toward her? What could she have possibly done to receive a lot of the backlash from people? And not only that, people judge her as though they know her. What's happening in your own marriage for you to say she doesn't have a right to be married to him? Says who? Says who? It's just crazy to me. It's ludicrous.
You know, when it comes to the whole Meghan thing, I just shake my head because it's beyond ridiculous.
Let me say this. I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is a comment like this person on the panel just said, she doesn't even look Black. She does look Black. No white person has hair texture as Meghan.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. A lot of them use that. She doesn't look Black. So if she doesn't look Black to you, what does that have to do with you attacking her? And it's a lie, because anybody that had an ounce of Black in them can see Meghan's hair texture is not like white.
But it's not even. But it's not.
Wait. She can stand next to Harry, William, and Kate. You can easily see the contrast in her pigmentation. And for you to simply say she doesn't look Black or whatever, she looks white.
Okay, what I was going to say was what difference? I mean, first of all, what is looking Black? What does that even mean? What is it to look Black? But you know that she's not 100% white. So what does it mean to look Black? Can you looking more Black? I mean, what? What is more Black? Are you talking about darker Black people? Because Black people come in all shades. Black people come in all shades. It's not just the hair texture and all this other stuff. Black people come in all shades. So looking more black, what does that mean? What does looking more black mean? I don't understand that. What does that mean? What is more black? You know, I mean, it just, I mean, she's half white. Okay. And, but what does more black mean? Because if you look at black people, and you look at where we come from, we got some of everything in us. So I don't, you know, that more black. I mean, that comment is just so, it's just an ignorant comment. And Kimberly says that's the generational mindset. You know, are black people white? We're not totally black. My 3 times grandfather was white, slave owner. I guarantee you, he didn't marry my 3 times great grandmother. Cabinet says we have the Eve gene. Welcome, Abina. Welcome, DMAC, and an official welcome to Black Cabinet Education. You know, I mean, you know, so Shy Lady, I understand what you're saying about Megan, but you know, it's
the thing is, Solid, is that most white people use that excuse to attack her. Oh, I'm not attacking her because she's black. She doesn't even look black. She looks white. I didn't know she was black. I thought she was white. That's a damn lie. Anybody can see her standing next to all those white people can see she's not like the others. There's no mistaking that woman is not white. Her hair texture is not like most people with black genes in them. Her hair texture is nothing like a regular white woman. Now I have a relative whose hair is textured like white people, and she's not all black. Her dad is black, one of my family members, and her mom is white. Her skin looks like Megan, but she looks more like she's Latina because her hair is straight. It has no curl in it at all.
Shirley, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I mean this rich guy is saying she don't have an afro though. You know what? But you know what? You know what?
It does not look like white people hair.
But once again,
anyone can see that.
But okay, but forget the hair thing because we have black folks that have straight hair and
in my own family. I got it in my family,
and they are black. So you know it's like okay, so okay, you're gonna talk about black people, talk about Megan, and then all of a sudden then you're gonna come back and say he's a beautiful woman. I mean, seriously. I mean, oh come on, no. That's
the excuse they want to use. They all online making nasty comments. I didn't know she was black. You're a lie. She don't look like the rest of them. Her skin is nowhere near the shade of theirs or her hair. Her hair is not like theirs.
But Shiley, I'm going to push back on you because you do have some black people who do look white.
Absolutely. I have like I said, I have a cousin. I have a first cousin who's all black. He married a white woman, and that child that they had, she looks just like the dad. She has his nose, she has his lips, but her skin is pale, just no color, and her hair is straight. She couldn't hold the curl if she wanted to. So I agree, but anyone can look at her can see, she doesn't look totally white because her nose is different.
But
her lips are different. But she looks like her father.
But I'm just saying, but you also have black people who have white features.
Absolutely.
And that is why, and that's why I'm saying that it's, you just can't say the hair, the features, whatever, because there are black people who are black and they look white because of that gene. I mean, if anybody knew my father, my father and my uncle were called the little red boys growing up. My father looked white. He wasn't. He had white relatives. He had white, grands. But I guarantee you he was treated like a black man.
Oh, absolutely.
I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
I guarantee he was treated like he was treated like a black man.
Absolutely.
So again, and I'm not trying, I'm not on here to bash white people or anything. I'm here to talk honestly. And put out truths. And yes, Crazy, I know he was trolling. He has been blocked. I just want an acknowledgement. Because people say, oh, if everyone would just, get along, whatever. I mean, that's nice to say in theory. It really, really is. But realistically, until mindsets are changed, until you have people who don't get upset because a group of people are following each other, seriously? I make the comment, and I'm still making the comment about black people need to stop spending money. That $1 trillion that we contribute to the U.S. economy alone, we're not even going to talk about how much we contribute to the world economy, but the $1 trillion+ that we contribute to this country alone, even without a recession, even without higher prices and stuff, would break this country. I make that comment and somebody's reported me to the FBI. Literally. But where was the outrage and everything when our property was being burned and stolen and crapped on and then stolen and then burned again and then stolen again? See, you can't pick and choose. People say pick your battles. And Crazy says that'll never happen. Unfortunately, I'm pretty positive. I'm a pretty positive person, but unfortunately, I don't see that improving like we would hope. Charlie says, yes, we black people as a group need to funnel our money into investments. They pay off instead of designer purchases. Charlie, I was going to do, I am. Well, actually, I'm need to talk to Black Captain about this because I don't know what show, to do it on. But I want to talk about the designer stuff. The majority of designers that have seriously made money in the last 20 years have done so because they have African Americans who are endorsing their products. I say stop doing it. But I understand these people want to get paid. I say stop doing it. So while, getting upset over black women following each other. Seriously? And Black Candace says, yes, black people are the fashion show of the world. As I heard one person say, we are the creators of cool. I believe that 100%. I am going to speak what I feel is truth. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to get suspended off of platforms not the first platform I have been suspended from. And see, now you have a generation of people who went from the Martin Luther King turn the other cheek to now we have a generation of people growing up who are like, we're not going to turn the other cheek. We're going to state facts, and we're going to stand here, and you're going to listen. You can like what I have to say or not. I don't care either way, but I'm still going to speak what I feel is my truth. And this crap on the Black Girl Follow Train on TikTok is just beyond ridiculous. And then the Black men who are also dissing the Black women for following each other is ridiculous. I'm tired of the tears, the little fake tears. I'm tired of seeing the Karens in Victoria's Secret crying, throwing themselves on the floor, and the police come and want to arrest a Black woman. As this white woman's throwing herself on the floor crying, saying that I'm afraid of you, while you continuously cry and throw yourself on the floor following this woman around, this Black woman who's trying to get away from your crazy behind. And as Shy Lady said, calling the police on a 7-year-old girl because she's spraying trees trying to save the trees. Or Black swimmers wanting to get into a pool and bleach is thrown on them to force them out of the pool. Not on adults, on children. And Black Cabinet, if you would, I told the story about Reese Turner. I was going to tell the story of Mary Turner. And Reese Turner was the rape of Reese Turner. If you would, I was going to tell the story of Mary Turner, but I want you to tell the story the way I know you tell the story, because my story is not going to be conveyed the way you tell the story of Mary Turner and why we don't do picnics, if you don't mind.
Well, of course, greetings and salutations. How you doing, my sister?
I am good. I am good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to read the story of Mary Turner. Straight out the book of White Rage by Carolyn Anderson. Bear with me. Let me find the page, if you don't mind.
No problem.
I think this is a story that is very telling. It's very daunting. As I read it, some people, you might. Has anybody here ever heard the story of Mary Turner? Of what happened to Mary Turner? Other than yourself, Sally, has anybody that's listening have you guys ever heard the story of Mary Turner?
I know Shy Lady has.
Shy Lady has, okay. I see one person saying they never heard it. I'm sorry, bear with me, everyone. I'm finding the page now.
And also, while Black Cabinet is looking for that, Friendly Differences 2.0 is coming off hiatus. It was acid that was thrown. Okay, I thought it was bleach.
Acid was thrown in the water. I know families that use the pool.
Okay, so Friendly Differences is returning on January 21st. It is Friendly Differences 2.0, and my new co-host will be Black Cabinet Education.
Hello, everybody. That's awesome.
So
I can't wait.
so you guys, if you could, the website is still going to be the same on TikTok. It'll still be Friendly Differences. The shows that Ba and I did together, they will remain up. But it will, again, as I said, Friendly Differences has been on hiatus and is coming back, and we got some we got some stuff that might get us banned on TikTok again, but I don't know. we shall see. But anyway, so, and also follow Black Cabinet on his Podbean, because his shows and Black Cabinet, you got to tell me when you're on, because in the morning I am like so busy and I'm making business calls and stuff. And anyway.
Well, right now it's 10:30 Central Standard Time to 11:30. I'm really trying to keep it at 45 minutes because it seems like people like things that are short. So about, but I try and go from 10:30 to 12 is the block that I schedule it for. But I'm happy just to stay for 30 to 45 minutes.
I'm always finding you late then. And see, I would, my shows are supposed to be an hour, but people are saying you need to go longer. You need to go longer. So, but anyway, have you found the page?
Yes. I found. I was just seeing where I exactly wanted to start. It starts out here in a 5 days of lynching orgy. At least 11 African Americans, 10 of them who have absolutely nothing to do with Smith's death, were hunted down and slaughtered. Perhaps none more gruesome than Mary Turner. A lynch mob had already snatched her husband, Hines, strung him up to a tree, and let his body rot, dangling from the limb all weekend. 8 months pregnant with 2 small children, whom she had sent into hiding, she was enraged that he had been killed for no good reason. Feisty, strong-willed, and stubborn, Mary Turner threatened that if she knew the parties who were in the lynch mob, that she would have warrants sworn out against them. She would never get that chance. On Sunday, the lynchers came for her. They drug Mary to a tree, stripped her, tied her by her ankles together, and strung her upside down. The men ran to their cars, brought back gasoline, and began to roast her alive. Then they saw her naked, 8-month pregnant stomach convulsing. That only sent the mob made up several of Hampton's Smith brothers, as well as a clerk, the post office man. Basically, is trying to say these are everyday people. The auditor of Stanford Oil, the furniture salesman, and several farmers into a deep frenzy, as one of them took a knife and sliced away, cutting her flesh until the baby, now ripped out of her stomach, fell to the ground and started to cry. Someone in the lynch party then stumped forward and smashed the child's head into the red Georgia dirt with the heel of his boot. That's the story of Mary Turner.
Okay. And I'm supposed to be worried about somebody getting upset because why? Because your feelings? Because I didn't show you my freedom papers when I'm coming into building that I live in. I have to show you my freedom papers in order to get on the elevator of the place that I live in. I'm supposed to get upset because, you don't want your child to learn about Martin Luther King, and in Florida they're actively taking Martin Luther King out of the books. Why don't you learn about Mary Turner? Why don't you learn about Reese Turner? And all of them, the thousands, the hundreds of thousands. I think it's funny that people were so outraged over Whoopi Goldberg and her so-called, Jewish slur. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell, what she did that was so wrong. Let's talk about all the slurs that are constant every day against people of color.
Can I read another small story? It's really quick.
Sure.
This story was in the summer of 1925. The story of Dr. Alexander Turner. He was Dunbar Hospital's co-founder and head of surgery. Tried to move into a home he had purchased in an all-white part of town entirely. Within 5 hours of unpacking his first block, bricks and rocks rained down as a mob of thousands strong moved in to drive him out. With Detroit police officers watching, he was compelled to sign the deed and relinquish ownership of his property at gunpoint. The police had escorted Turner and his family back to the black side of town.
Once again. I mean, what? You know, as one young lady said on TikTok, what did we do? Why do you hate us so much? What did we do? What did we do?
I'll answer your question. The trigger for white rage is inevitably black advancement. It is not the mere presence of black people that is a problem. Rather, it's blackness with ambition, with drive, with purpose, with aspiration, and with the demand for being full and equal citizens. That's all we ever did.
And it's something that we deserve. And I'm going to go to Mr. Chill Will. Welcome back, stranger.
Hey. I like that introduction. I feel like you knew me.
So what's up, Mr. Chill Will?
Hey, y'all. Hold on. I ain't got my seatbelt. You got to bear with me. I messed my back up, so everything's hard right now. Look. Okay. First of all, you think people still mad at that? For real? Like, I don't think right now today, man, at the advancement, like, there's too much of it going around.
Okay, wait, chill, hold on. You need to stop that.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was trying to buckle up my seatbelt, but just turned it off before I even got a chance. But anyway, like, that's a good point to what I think. What he spoke of, but I don't think people really care. Like, white folks don't care about that no more. Like as far as advancement and all of that, I don't think they give a damn about that. I think it's more. I mean, some may do, but I don't care because it's too much. It's too much around. Like, hey, you see black folks doing the doctors, lawyers. I mean, it's for a while, so you got to get over it, especially the younger folks. Maybe older, maybe, but they don't say nothing, right? And so I don't think that's the biggest thing. I do think the biggest thing, though, is just the lack of you kind of mentioned MLK not being in the history books or slavery being kind of like abolished out of the history books and things of that nature. I do see that, but it ain't their job to keep our hope alive. It ain't their job. You know what I'm saying? It's our job. It's our job in each individual's home to understand and to teach that, and through mediums like this, and because this is if we already know it ain't gonna happen, you just take the bull by its horns, and half the time they're not teaching the right shit anyway. Like I mean, personally, what I learned, it was everywhere. We had a whole Black History Month, we had a person every day, but you wouldn't even hear the truth then either. I mean, I'm not saying that Martin Luther King was a saint. I mean, you don't learn the whole truth about none of that. Hard truths. A lot of it is half told anyway. So
Sure, I understand what you're saying, but I think, and I totally believe that this stuff should be taught at home. I totally believe that 100%. But I do think that it's wrong that if you want to take Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and a lot of these other people out of the school books, then I don't want my child learning about George Washington. I don't want them learning about Abraham Lincoln. I don't. In fact, I don't want them learning about. I mean, let's take history out totally. Let's just forget about history and learn about science and math. Let's just take history out of the schools, because you can't pick and choose.
Because it's American history, and the problem is that we deal with Black history, and I think really that's the reason why they're taking it out of the history books, because we deal it as Black history opposed to just history. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's our country's history. Period.
But even if you said just history, they would still keep it out. See, the problem to me, Will, is not the fact that it's in there. It's the fact that now, like I said, you have a generation of people who are like, let's tell the truth. We're not going to let you all just glaze over it and then keep on going. If you're going to talk about George Washington, tell the truth about George Washington. If you're going to talk about Thomas Jefferson, tell the whole truth.
Like what? George? Like about George? I mean, like he owned slaves and stuff?
Yes. If you're going to tell the truth about Thomas Jefferson, let's talk about how he raped a 14-year-old girl, had nine kids with her.
Oh. Some of them was even black. Like some of the presidents had black in them. Some of them
but I'm saying if you're going to talk, let's talk about the whole. Let's talk about the whole.
Some of them was. I know Abraham definitely has some black in him. You go to this line, for sure. Yeah, I gotta get the I got a lot of literature on him.
I have a lot of literature on him. They tried to accuse him of being black to try in the Stephen Douglas debate, so they could try and deter voters from voting for him. They were trying to say he was black, trying to say he was black, but he was never black. Look up his genealogy; he never had not one black person.
It's a book that talk about those, but regardless, they still. I get what you're saying, Solid. I mean, your point is taken. What I'm saying is that we know that's going to happen, right? So that's nothing that we can. That's what racism is. We complain about things we can't control, but the thing we can't control is how we determine things. Because that's what we got to do anyway. Whether it's there or not, we gotta still tell the right story.
But chill, and I agree with that. But I don't want to hear if you all only would, you all should, whatever. And we did that after Reconstruction. We were senators. We held places in the Senate until the laws were changed that black people can't run for a public office. We had black Wall Streets, we had newspapers, we had banks, we had artwork that rivaled what the Germans stole from what the Nazis stole from the Jewish people during World War II. We had all of that. And it was taken, it was burned down, and it was stolen. And I'm talking about, this is before civil rights.
No, I'm just saying we had civil rights leaders, the civil rights movement that wanted desegregation, which also helped abolish that. So it's a lot to go blame why that's here.
I mean, it's a lot.
My point is that you know why it's there.
And it is complicated, and it's a lot of stuff that to weed through. But again, that's why I say you still have to talk about it. You just can't shrug it off to the side. And we as a people, we do need to make sure that we educate our own. Because one thing that I can say,
and you gotta care about that.
You do have to care.
Yeah. Black folks, white folks, they don't care about it. They have beyond their nose today, and the money they make, no one cares about nothing anymore. It's all about making money.
It is, and that's a shame. And I don't know if it was a Shy Lady I was talking to the other day, or Petty Deb, where we were talking about that when you look at HBCUs and stuff, yes, I'm bringing up Bill Cosby, but you had Bill Cosby who gave money to HBCUs. You had Oprah, you had Sidney Portier, you had all of the old school, Black people who supported that. But now you don't see the P Diddy's and the Beyonce's and whatever. They're just not doing it. But again, you have to make sure that you are educating your children about Black history. I grew up in a house where my parents, they rammed it down our throats. Now I am glad that they did. I'm glad that they made us read books and stuff and say this is what it is. And I'm glad that I have stories that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And that's why I say for everybody, no matter whatever.
You're speaking to something right there, though. You're speaking to the real issue, though, right there. And it's not the black or white. It's that once the Black folks become rich, that's what they become. They all become rich. They all silent. So it wasn't just, you don't see no Black, except Kanye crazy ass. You don't see no people becoming billionaires speaking out and doing. So it's about the rich and the poor. It's about the elite and the lower class. And typically that's it's rich. They wrote it down on a cloth piece of paper on how to keep people divided. So these conversations are great to be had, but they're still kind of served as divisions and a bunch of like rigmarole, chasing sales for us not to look up, right? And so the commonality and poor folks is easy. It gets cloudy when it comes to the middle class because even the Black folks think they're a little better than the poor Black folks. You know what I'm saying? The middle class Black folks. But when you start to look up, that's what they don't want you to do. And so that's I think that's one of the main troubles because we can find commonalities in all races.
But chill. But at the same time, one thing that is dangerous to society is an educated Black person.
For sure. That's what I was saying. But overall, I do think that there's a lot of educated Black folks, right? That just right on status quo. You gotta be beyond educated. You gotta be willing to sacrifice. And typically, that's a small minority of people that's making change. You got way more the gun line. Tell them about the gun line boss. You got way more of them in society than you got the Nat Turners or or even John Brown for that matter.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and that's why even with Nat Turner, I think it amuses me that one thing that some white people want to bring up is, well, Nat Turner, he was a slave that went around and he murdered 29 white people. Okay, let's see, that was in like 1930 something, whatever. It's like I'm sorry, 1830. Well, he was a slave. He was being beaten every day. Okay, so he did that. And let's talk about all the lynchings and murders and killings and shootings and whatever. And you're gonna talk about 29? Like Cabinet, I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and this is gonna be a quick statement. From what I remember, lynching just became illegal last year.
After you had some people who voted against it, who voted against the anti-lynching law, who voted against it.
I'll say again.
It's quite comical. That's comical.
I'll say again.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, we finally came to a consensus that hanging Black people from trees is illegal last year. Let that sink in.
Like I said, Mary Turner and everybody else. Here it is, 2022. We're in 2023, and we are still talking about this. Why are we still talking about it? Because it is still a problem. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn my ringer down. Because it is still a problem.
My main thing, you're right, but I don't think, my main thing is that creating a society in which within ourselves to get together and obviously you want to build your own house. Somebody from outside throwing rocks, you got to stop the bleeding there too as well. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword to tackle because you got to be able to address it in one way, but in another kind of like build within. But that's the most important part, trying to get to the point where we can build within. And so we don't have to worry about nobody. And then when you get to a certain status, especially economically, because that's what we're missing. We own nothing. We own shit. You know what I'm saying? We can hold people accountable if we were the ones that own the TV station. We can hold people accountable if they say something crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we don't. So that we still just, it's been what, 100 years, maybe, not even, till we start to really make some way. Everybody had a hell of a head start. So it just takes time. It takes a little bit of effort. And these conversations, sure, like, to progress as a people in general.
So
let
me ask this, since you two are the only ones that are on the panel, and if you guys want to make a comment, of course, please do. So I would like to know, why is it so difficult for certain people to talk about what we're talking about? Why is it so difficult that some Black people don't want to talk about it? Why is it difficult that some white people don't want to talk about it? Why is it so difficult for people to talk about problems like this that are problems and need to be discussed in order to not have the problem anymore?
Well, I think one of the reasons why most people don't talk about these issues and these problems because they don't study these issues and problems. One of the biggest things is it's a lack of knowing. We've been told that George Washington's only bad thing he ever did his whole life was chopping down a cherry tree. We've been told that he had wooden teeth for so long. These different lies that the only wood that was in his mouth was holding together the teeth of his enslaved Africans. We've been told for so long that the Emancipation Proclamation freed slaves, but the Emancipation Proclamation actually left more in bondage than he ever did leave free. We've been told for so long that Juneteenth was Independence Day, but not understanding that the 4 border states still had slavery even after Juneteenth. And so even now today we celebrate like this is our real independence when we still had actual people there. The reason why people don't talk about it because they just don't know. And
okay, but is it that they don't know or they don't want to know? Because if you want to discuss it.
I think people want to know, but they don't know, and people don't want to take the time to go know. Because it takes time to go through history. And so when people when they don't want to study and they don't want to take the time to do it, they'll rather have mainstream media shove it down their throat than them actually opening up a book themselves, or even open up a Google entry to find out what the truth is. And so most people shy away from talking about things they don't know about. People want to look smart. People want to feel like they're empowered. And the only way you can feel smart and empowered is know something about the subject. If you don't know anything about it, you're going to run from it. You don't want to face it. You don't want to see the truth. And so that's the reason why people don't want to talk about it, because they just don't know.
Okay, and see, DA, I disagree with you just on the fact that, yes, I do believe that people just don't know, but I also believe that people just don't want to talk about something that they are either embarrassed about or they know for a fact is true, but they just don't want to admit it, because talking about it out loud means that it happened. Talking about it out loud means that it's true. I talk to people who literally, I mean, some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth is like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? So yeah, I do believe in what Miss Kimberly Michael said earlier, and she was speaking as a white woman. I agree with her 100%. I'm not going to stick my head.
They don't like that, right, Charlotte?
I'm sorry, what?
There's also a good segment of people that don't care about that.
I also yes. I mean, there are people that don't care. You have your don't care.
I think that's the majority. They're not embarrassed about it. They know what happened. They're not embarrassed about it. They know that happened. I mean, they want to be stuck in the place. Like, that's just like if you mess around with your wife and she always reminded you to cheat. No, let me move. But let me just okay. I got it. But I just want to move. Let's move on. Like, so what we're gonna do about it? How we gonna fix it?
But you know what though?
And
But
if you ask
see,
me-
but chill. But that's why I'm saying that if you're constantly repeating history, you have to talk about it.
I
So
mean,
if your wife is constantly cheating on you, you gotta either divorce her or talk about it. You have to talk about it.
I got you. That's a good point. What I'm saying in reference to if white folks feel like they're not cheating. I mean, they're not doing nothing in reference to what, like you said, it's happening to black folks are still happening. So that's what we're talking about. But it's the point to where the whole ideology of the black plight, whether it be the history or I don't know reparations or just the plight in general. Like, all right, cool. I care. Either I care or don't care. A lot of people just don't care. They don't affect their lives. They don't care.
Right. But I understand that, chill. But what
They didn't get no black friends, right?
But
So what I'm supposed to do? You ask me to be a good person now.
And I understand that. But at the same time, though, when things are still happening, how are you going to fix it? Because I don't want to hear somebody say, "Oh, if we would all just get along." Okay, that's fine, but we can all get along if the playing field was level, and it's not.
And that's a good point. How you gonna fix it? I don't think you gotta fix something. I don't think nothing's wrong. I think if something happens,
exactly, and that privileged group will always think that there's nothing wrong because it's not happening to them.
Exactly, and that's normal. That's how white people. That's how black people act. But in general, I feel like the main thing is that I haven't been conditioned to even care about these things, right? As that culture, I don't have to care about anything. This is my country. I can do anything I want, and I can, I can grow to be whoever I want. That reigns true for me. And not only, I know understand your fight, but look, I came from the Trump Party. I came from the post-Trump part of time. So that's my, not to say black folks ain't got a whole different fight. Obviously, I'm just saying from their standpoint, I've heard this a lot. Like the hell, I had it hard too. Shit, I was poor. My daddy beat up my mama. I got, what you saying? Get over yourself. Pull your big boy pants up. Ain't nobody stopping you now.
And chill. And that's where I think and I agree with you to a certain point. I agree with you to a certain point. So
I feel like that's their thought process. Not necessarily mine, but just speaking from that's like a middle-aged, say a white guy. Like, shit, or any woman, like people who are successful, shit was hard for me. I don't hate black people. If you know what I'm saying. So if I don't hate them, what's stopping me? I mean, I'll give them a job if they're fucking good. I'm not gonna give them affirmative action. That's just the ideology of it. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the history, which is not helping their ideology. Because if you understand generational wealth or just opportunity, if there's a such thing as generational wealth and generational opportunity, it has to be the opposite, right? Generational poorness, generational, so that's what we're speaking of. We're asking them to listen, which if it didn't affect my daily, who gets? I don't care.
Okay. All right. DA, you want to say anything?
Well, yeah, it's. I think there's a lot more that goes into it. Most people, like you said, most people don't want to face it to fix it. Like you said, if a husband or wife cheated on each other, you got to face it to fix it. You got to have those tough conversations to find out. So the other person stops bringing it up. You got those tough conversations, and you got to say, you gotta repair. And if there's no repair, you're going to continue to have those tough conversations. And when I say repair, yes, I'm talking about reparations. I'm talking about and a way of how you're going to make sure you repair, because our societies have been damaged, and you can't hide the fact of the stolen land from indigenous people. You cannot hide the fact of black people coming out of enslavement that was owning land that was taken from them, that was forced out of their hand. You talked about the Black Wall Street, but you're talking about Nicodemus, Kansas, not just Rosewood, even though the anniversary of Rosewood, just 100-year anniversary was 2 days ago of Rosewood. People forget about Rosewood. People forget, like you just said, coming out of Reconstruction. People forget Wilmington, North Carolina. And what happened there, the only coup d'etat that has ever happened on American soil, where white people were mad at black elected officials and actually went in there with, by hook or crook and basically put guns to all their heads and made them resign of their positions and took over the government. People don't remember things like that happened. People don't remember Forsyth, Georgia, right down the street from Macon, where had a population of over 1,000 black people. Because of one incident, they told all black people to get out of town within 24 hours or they were going to be hung and die. They don't hear those stories. You know, they think that this is all just a myth. You know,
I believe that, but quick question: what are you asking them today to do?
But
not just a question,
what I'm saying is, when you force black people off of their land and you take it from them, you got to repair that. You can't just take something from someone and then tell them pull up your bootstraps and you took my boots. I ain't got
no. First of all, I understand what you're saying completely right there. That was me saying ideology of the conversation I had with that mentality. So I get that completely. But what it's at the still, you know what I'm saying? When you pose a problem, what's typically the best, especially like in a business meeting, you pose a problem, what that say you should come with. Right, my man. So just beyond reparations, that's not a plan, right?
Right.
So reparations. So what would that consist of? Just not a whole plan, but you know.
Right. My solution is repair by giving resources without the gentrification. Right now, if you look at most places, when they say we want more resources, they build better schools, they build better gymnasiums, they change the libraries, they clean up the streets. But then when they do, they move all those people out because they hired the taxes. So they made all this great stuff for the people in that community, but the people in that community cannot hold the tax bracket to actually take advantage of these new recreation centers, these new libraries, these new schools. So what happens is those people get moved out. And then, of course, gentrification comes in. So I'm saying we give equitable resources to these communities. People say, yeah, if you throw enough money at it, it'll go away. Well, throw the money at it and don't make the people go away. Make the problem go away and let the people stay. Right now, we do get fixes in our communities, but what happens? They get gentrified. And gentrification is what's driving us out of our communities today, which moves us into another communities where those communities now have the problems. It's either you fix the community and let them live in that community so they can reap the benefits of it, which that is a form of repair. You're repairing that community, bringing it back to a state where they feel good about themselves living in that community. So now, of course, when residents feel good about where they live, guess what? They're going to tell on, the no snitch rule doesn't count no more. Because guess what? This neighborhood's for us now. And when you come over here shooting at people, when you come over here vandalizing, yeah, we're going to point the finger and tell on you because this is our community and we want it to be better. And so I think that
does it matter though where it comes from?
Does it matter what the money comes from?
So say for instance, that sounds like what Ice you talking. That's exactly what Ice Cube was saying that he was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? They was attacking him for sitting down with Donald Trump. You don't remember all that? So does it matter? Does it matter who it comes from? Because no matter what, because obviously,
reparations gotta come from white people. So I don't care where it comes from. If you're gonna rebuild the community and let us keep it, then I don't care where it comes from. No, I don't care where it comes from. When you're gonna give it to us willingly and do not throw up the tax bracket and make us move out. So our kids can actually, it doesn't matter where it comes from because now we're actually doing it for the people. You know what I'm saying? I believe, I'm a humanitarian. I don't put things on black and white, I put things on people. I think people, and I say all disenfranchised people need to have a shot at what they call the quote unquote the American dream. All people should have a shot at health care. All people should have a shot at working wage jobs. All people should have a shot at not being on the streets and actually being able to live. So yeah, I think we all should have it. I don't care if you're white, black, Mexican, or especially Latino, Native American. I think if everyone has a free shot at having those what I call it, the hierarchy of needs. If you go look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you take care of those first two block of needs, everyone has a chance to reach self-actualization. So if everybody gets to eat, if everybody gets to sleep in a place that is secure and they have safety, everybody has I believe in universal income. What do you mean by that? I think if you're disabled, you should have a universal income. If you're over age, you have a universal income. And if you can't work, you have if you have universal income, what do? Now you start to do away with crime in your community. Why? Because most crime is only generated because of income. Why? We should be paying people to live instead of I think that we should pay everyone a minimum to live. And if anybody wants more money to get something bigger, then you go work for it. But everyone off the muscle should be paid to live. And so I think when we created a society where we all can eat and we all can live and be safe, then you can really talk about equitable equality. Now, guess what? I can't talk about what happened to them back then. I can't talk about no one taking nothing from me. I can't talk about our ancestors being this and that, because if you fix it now, you give me nothing to talk about. But until you fix it, I'm gonna tell you why you do that to Mary Turner. Why'd y'all allow Dr. Martin Luther King to get assassinated? Why'd you allow El Hazlik El Shabazz to get assassinated? Why'd y'all blow up Walter Rodney in Africa? I'm gonna keep on bringing it up because they don't want to give us equitable means to live today. And I yield the floor.
You know, DA, you bring up a lot of good points, because as you were talking, I was thinking about Oscarville, Georgia. And for people who don't know what Oscarville, Georgia is, and this is what I'm talking about, Chill, when I mean, yes, we need to do things for ourselves, but we did so many things for ourselves. Our ancestors, they did so many things for us, and it was taken. Oscarville, Georgia, is a town, or was a town, that was burned down in 1912. And over 1,000 citizens or residents of Oscarville, Georgia, were forced to flee due to because of allegations of rape that were not true. Hold on, let me just pull this up for a moment. Rob Edwards and Ernest Knox and Oscar Daniel, teenagers accused of raping and murdering a white woman named Mae Crow. She was raped and murdered by a white man. Edwards was dragged out of jail, beaten with a crowbar, and then lynched from a telephone pole. Daniel and Knox went to trial and were found guilty on the same day. The boys were sentenced to death by hanging. After the trials and executions, white men known as the Night Riders forced Black families out of their homes by burning their land, churches, and schools. Lake Lanier, which is still around today, was built on top of that town. And it's considered to be haunted. And people go fishing. It's a tourist attraction. So we had all of this. It has just been so hard to get it back. We had it all. Our ancestors weren't cleaning people's toilets and cooking their food and watching their babies, or minding their babies, rather. We had this. And you have people who are upset with Governor Newsom here in California because he gave Bruce Beach back to the family it was stolen from. Had a lot of people upset about that. A lot of people. It was worth about $1 million before it was stolen from them. Now it's a multi-million-dollar property because it's by the water. What the family did was, instead of taking and build a home and tell everybody to keep off, they still own it. But they pretty much kept it the way it is. I wouldn't have been that
much money. I would have kept it.
I'm saying they didn't sell it, whatever. They didn't build a home on it, whatever. They pretty much, meaning they are still allowing the public to come and enjoy that land. I wouldn't have been that generous.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, which is I'm all for that, your argument. But I think the walls, the barriers is like, whether it's from within or outside, you know, you saying reparations. When you say reparations, that means something is, it's, it says a price on it.
Right.
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 Making it quantifiable.
Right.
And which that would never be for a lot of black folks. Right. It's no price you can even.
No, I mean there is.
It's not on the floor, no ceiling you can put on some of the shit. You know what I mean?
No, I mean you absolutely can't, because because you I mean, because I wonder if white people truly understands what it means, and I'm not talking about you lost family in the war or something like that. I'm talking about to truly understand what it means to have family that you will never even get to see again, because they were sold, because they were ripped away from their land. Mothers, fathers separated from their children. I mean,
and you're just right though. But now, if you do that today to the people who are there, that has nothing to do with it, how do you go about doing that properly without creating division? You know what I'm saying?
So then when in 1986, I do believe, when President Reagan gave $20,000, which was over $1 billion, to the Japanese families that were in internment camps. Now they got $20,000, which I think was a piddly sum, because they were forced out of their homes. Their homes were immediately confiscated, not necessarily by the government, but people are living in some of those homes who were some white people who just came and were part of the militia,
right.
You know, whatever. And they're living in these homes, furniture, all. They were never given this land back. I mean, at least they did get 20,000. I personally think that you should go around and give everybody their land back and property that was stolen, starting with the Native Americans. And I guarantee you, this world is this country. Yes. Because this country will look a whole lot.
But this is a problem, though.
A whole lot different. No, I mean, I understand that will never happen, but I say that just to show the magnitude of what was taken, not just from African Americans, but I'm 100% the Native Americans. They got
first of all, I get that. No, we ain't got to worry about that. Because listen, collectively, we ain't got no friends. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I love people. But as in this country, collectively, we ain't got no friends. They was never our friends collectively from the jump. So that if we just talk about it as a group, we just gotta worry about ourselves, because everybody else do, right? This is what the dynamic is, and that's why. Also, another reason why we can't grow, because we worry about everybody else.
And that's why I say spend our money amongst ourselves. Stop giving this $1 trillion plus out into the society, and we need to spend it within ourselves the way we did.
And when you get there, you can help. Then we can help. When we get to that point, we can help them.
Right. Because then we had the Black Wall Streets. $1 was exchanged within the community 38 times before it went out. That's what we need to do. We need to have our own. I mean, have our own. And it may sound. I mean, you know, because what's funny to me is it's like, you know, on one hand, you don't want us to be here, but you want our money. It's okay for us to spend our money. That's what I'm saying. So keep our money within ourselves, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to.
The Chinese,
you know,
and they'll come. You know, they'll come and set up shop in the hood, take from the hood, but they won't necessarily. You barely see somebody working in those shops. That's of our color, right?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. You know, and DA, I know you're itching to say something.
Oh, no, I was actually enjoying. I mean, I'm glad that we're all coming to a consensus. The thing is, I like what Chill was saying. I mean, we ain't got no permanent friends. All we have is permanent interests, and that's seen throughout everything. We never have permanent friends. That we have historically, if people do the research, we have such a complicated history, not just with white people, but we have a complicated history with indigenous people here. I've given history lessons and show people, and even indigenous people, I say yes. People don't know that there were of the five tribes, the five civilized tribes, that some of them actually fought in the Confederacy. A lot of people don't know that. That a lot of five tribes actually owned enslaved black people. Black people coming out of enslavement during emancipation were called, and you can look it up, Cherokee Freemen, Choctaw Freemen, Seminole Freemen, Creek Freemen. The reason why they're called Freemen is because they were actually enslaved by these five tribes at one point, but then they became free and began to live on native land. And so, if you look at that, well, we have this complicated history that we all have to dish out. Like you said, we have to understand what land back means. Land back doesn't just mean give indigenous people all the land and kick everybody out. I mean, of course, some people say, "Yay!" But no, land back just means understanding that the way indigenous people live. With the herds of the buffalo, with the water, and keeping it like that. Land back means giving them their sovereignty, giving them a sovereign reign over what is theirs. They are generous people, and so we need to allow them to let us do that. And then therefore now we need to find out how do we navigate this, because of course black people are going to say, hey, my grandpa's grandpa was here. We have people that died here. You just can't send people, just like we can't. It's hard to send, like DACA, right? You just can't send Latinos back to Mexico because some of them only know America as their home. Same thing. How are us as black people going to go back to Africa when for centuries all we ever know was America as our home? And so there has to be a way that we can live amongst each other, where we all can, like I said, I just think everybody ought to eat. And when I say eat, I mean in everything. And so, like I said, if you want a small house, big house, whatever it is, everyone should have a place. We have enough money to be the greatest nation, but we don't want to be the greatest nation because we want to be the nation of capitalism, and all capitalism does is ensures that somebody's on the bottom that you're going to actually benefit from. And if you live like that, pretty soon the people at the bottom is going to get mad, and there's going to be an uprising. And they're going to show you that you're not going to continue to make money out their backs. And they're going to turn this whole Frankenstein monster called America that's coming out, that's undoing itself by the seams, and you can see it right now. This whole Frankenstein monster is going to just do overload. And you're going to see that people that are disenfranchised are going to stand up one day to this establishment, come together, grab hands. They're going to fight this government back, and this government is going to crumble. Because once you get a bunch of mad, black, Latino, white, indigenous people to come together and say, we ain't gonna take it no more, and we're gonna shut this damn government down, and all y'all people making billions of dollars, you ain't gonna do it. Once y'all come together and do that, oh yeah, it's time for rock and roll, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
That ain't got nothing to do with race. That's got to do with the bottom looking up. That's what I was mentioning.
I'm see, I went to a 2-hour show. Let's see. Frankie is up there. I don't see your comment, Frankie. Does anybody see Frankie's comment?
Yes, it says, I'll always fight in front line with you.
Okay. That's what Frankie says. I'll always fight on the front line with you. Thank you, Frankie. And I know, for people who don't know, Frankie is also a white woman who, due to a childhood fight with a racist white boy on the playground when she was 10, lost her ability to speak. So Frankie, we talk a lot via email, and she always has. She some of the things that she tells me, and her parents are still living, and how her father feels remorse because he could not do anything for his daughter, because what she did on the playground way back when. I think, Frankie, can I ask? I mean, I know it's rude for me to ask. So, I'm trying to get them because Frankie, every time I talk about your story, it just chokes me up. Um, okay, so you're saying that you're 53. Okay, well that wasn't what I was going to ask, but um, just the fact that she was sticking up for two Black kids from being bullied from this white kid down south. She now lives in the Bay Area, and this 10-year-old white kid hit her in her throat. So, for those of you who are familiar with Frankie, whenever she comes up on the panel, who's ever on the panel, if I don't catch it, if you all can read what she says. But yeah, I mean, I'm just sick of it, and I don't like the fact that here we are again in 2023, and we're still talking about the same old crap. We are still talking about the same stuff, and we'll be talking about the same stuff until the day I die, until the day you die, whatever. And I'm just tired of it. So real quick, because we are pushing the 2-hour mark here. Chill, you want to do the last word? You have anything else you want to say? Chill, you there? Okay, DA, I'm gonna go to you. You have any last words you want to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm sorry I was super late, but I made it. And I'm glad I was able to see the show. I need to follow Chill, man. I like Chill. I like his comments, and I think we can work with that. You know how fond I am of you, and Frankie. And what I'm gonna say about Frankie, Frankie, thank you for being in the fight. In a time like this, people say that there's no more allies, and that there's no more accomplices. But you put your very voice on the line for us, and you are a true accomplice. And I agree that you are fighting on the front line with us. Thank you. Thank you for your great sacrifice to us. And as a humanitarian, and like I said, like Chill was saying, it's not about color with me. It's all about humanity. It just so happens that Black people happen to be at the bottom of this barrel in everywhere you go, but it's all about humanity. I look back to Fred Hampton and Rainbow Coalition that he formed with the Young Lords and the Patriots. People don't know about the Patriots, the white disenfranchised people in Chicago. That's what actually made up the Hillbilly Patriots. Is what actually made up the Rainbow Coalition. So it just wasn't just Black and brown. It was also the brothers and sisters that were white. Who understood the struggle of growing up in poverty and understanding how it feels to be disenfranchised from a government that doesn't care about you, that cares about the almighty dollar. So thank you for this conversation. As we go into tomorrow, thank you so much, Solid, for having me up. Thank you everybody that's here, all the people that's listening. Hey, I'm fighting for all of you, because I'm fighting for all of us. And the only way we're going to actually tumble this criminal enterprise that I call America is if we all become us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Very well said. And on that note, guys, tomorrow is supposed to be a fun show. It's Thursday. So can we keep it fun? Can we keep it light? Can we not bring in the serious stuff? Can we just please keep it light and crazy? And DMAC, I do try to keep it light. I really, really do. I do. Thank you, Brina. I thought it was, yes, I am laughing too. So yeah, we can please keep it light. So on that note, guys, I'm going to leave you guys with When the Sun Comes Up. And again, thank you guys for coming. And I hope to see you tomorrow. And DA, I will be on the show because I'm not thinking Central Time. I'm thinking Pacific Time. So I am. Okay. See you tomorrow, guys. through the whole song. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I know it was a long show. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.